have terrible genetics. I'm always going to be skinny. I don't have the right genetics to get jacked and get muscular. These are the biggest lies that you could possibly be telling yourself, and you're honestly just cheating yourself by telling yourself this. Anyone, I mean anyone, can get jacked in the gym. Even if you have the worst possible genetics, you can make a ton of progress compared to where you're at right now. Yeah, you might not be some huge high-level bodybuilder. You might not have the genetics for that. But you have the genetics to get ripped, to get jacked, and get a lot more muscular than you're at right now. This is a specific problem that I had when I first started out as well. I'd been skinny my whole life, and I thought that's just how it was, and that's how it was going to be forever. I thought I was always going to be that smallest kid, super skinny, but I broke down my limiting beliefs with this and realized that no matter how bad you think your genetics are, you don't know until you try. That's the first point right there. Second, even if you have terrible genetics, you can still make a lot of progress. So I put together this presentation right here. I'm just going to jump right into it for you guys. I don't want to waste any of your time. I did 3 main things, and then it branches off a little bit right here. Let me see here. Still trying to learn this. But what am I going to go over today? I'm going to go over the science, the strategies, the tools, and then at the end, if you stick around, I'll give you a little bonus guide that I made to go along with this video as well. So be sure to stick around. Who am I, though? I used to struggle with skinny genetics and that limiting belief, so I was right there with you guys. But as you can see, I did not succumb to that limiting belief, and no matter how skinny I was starting out on this left picture right here, I proved myself wrong, and I proved everyone else wrong by getting jacked. I mean, this picture right here, I think it's a little bit over a year, if that. I think it might be less than a year between these two pictures, and I gained a ton of weight, a ton of muscle, just by focusing on these few key things that I'm going to go over with you guys today in this video. So if you're struggling with that, pay attention. First up, what are the challenges that you're going to face? What are the common challenges? So this is me. This is about that same time period when I was first getting started. I was running a lot, so you could see I had a little bit of muscle, but I was also very low body fat. So if you're in my same position that I was in, where you have low body fat, even if you're kind of that skinny fat build where you're skinny, your arms are skinny, and then you don't even have abs, that's kind of you have a little bit of fat and probably not much muscle, but that is really easy to overcome. It only takes a few months to start seeing progress with that. But I understand your pain points. Like I said before, I was in your shoes as well. These are the things that you're going to be telling yourself and the things that you're going to be struggling with. Fast metabolism. I'm sure every single one of you guys out there, if you've struggled with gaining weight, you think you just have some ultra fast metabolism. It's impossible for you to gain weight, right? You think you eat a ton. Well, I'm going to tell you, if you actually started tracking your calories, you're not eating that much. You might eat a lot one day, but then the very next day, you're like forgot to eat, and you didn't even realize it, because that was me. I mean, I'd have a lot of time one day, or let's say I went out to eat or something, right? Or you get fast food with your friends, all right? And you eat a ton of calories. You eat like 3 burgers, and you're like, bro, I'm still so skinny. How am I not gaining weight? If you look at it and you actually start tracking every single day, the next day you're going to see that you just forgot to eat. Maybe you got busy. Maybe you, honestly, a lot of the calories from the day before, you probably just didn't feel like you need to eat. You didn't really get that hungry. But start tracking every single day, and that's going to get you over that obstacle. Also, just having misinformation about training. I mean, there's so much advice out there on the internet, and you're never really going to know what works for you. You're going to have to do trial and error unless you get some sort of like personalized program, or you just find something that works for you right off the bat, which usually never happens. You're going to have to do like a lot of trial and error, but it will be worth it because everyone is different. What someone might recommend to you, what works for them, might not necessarily work for you. So you do got to do that trial and error. And then just thinking you're genetically cursed. Like, it's honestly bullshit when I hear people talk about this and say, oh, bro, your genetics are just so good. I wish I had your genetics. No, because if you look at the work that they're putting in, it's going to be like nowhere close. And the consistency that you have to do, it's going to be nowhere comparable at all. And they just blame it on genetics because it's just the lazy cop-out. So also, if you just follow these generic programs, and that includes like YouTube videos where they're taking you through their workout and things like that, yeah, it might be good stuff and it might work for them, but it may not necessarily work for you. Especially these generic programs that are like not targeting hard gainers and not targeting skinny guys where you've tried and tried, right? And you can't gain weight, you can't gain muscle, and you think that you're just going to be skinny forever. You think no matter how hard you try, it's not going to work out, but it's because you're following those generic programs. Those programs that people are putting out there, they may be targeting people that are trying to lose weight and lose fat. So why the fuck are you going to follow that when you're trying to gain weight, when you're trying to gain muscle? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's like building a Lego set or something for the completely different Lego set. It doesn't make any sense at all. And then you're in a unique situation, especially if you've been skinny your whole life or skinny fat, just that kind of generic dad bod build, that you require a specific set of instructions and a specific program that's going to get you to your goals. Because a lot of people try to lose weight and a lot of people try to lose fat. There's a lot of obese people out there, so that's the main thing. But you really need that one-on-one attention to tailor yourself and your goals. But on the bright side, though, yeah, it may seem like impossible to gain the weight and gain the muscle, but let me tell you, like, being able to eat basically whatever you want every day, it's just the fact that you have to eat a ton. I would take that over having to cut and have to force myself and limit myself every day. I would take this over anything else. So, and also it's really easy to see that progress. I'll add this in. When you're starting out skinny, whatever muscle you build is going to be visible like really early on. If you're really fat and you're trying to, let's say, like get jacked, just get that nice physique, right? You got to gain some muscle, but you also got to lose the fat. So like, which one do you do first? In our case, when you're starting out skinny, it's really easy. Gain muscle first, and that's it. If you put on a little bit of fat from bulking, which you're going to be like, what? That's crazy. I thought I couldn't even gain weight. Then you can do a cut after the bulk, which it probably won't take much because like you know, you have a fast metabolism, so it'll work out pretty easily. So let's talk about actually building some muscle as a hard gainer. The first thing that you really need to focus on, arguably more important than even working out in general, is mastering your nutrition program. You got to find out numbers that work for you. If you look up, I'm 130 pounds, I'm trying to get to 150 pounds. What should I do? Even if you weigh and you're the same height as someone else, your metabolism might be different. The way that your body works might be different. So you need a tailored nutrition program for you, and you need to be constantly readjusting those numbers as well so that you can always make progress. What's the number one thing, though, that you need to be doing out of nutrition is a calorie surplus. This is why you have not been gaining weight, no matter how much fucking hot dogs you force feed down your mouth. This is why you're not getting weight. You can eat all you want in a day, but if you're not doing a calorie surplus every single day, day in, day out, you're not going to gain weight. But it's really easy, though, because it's simple. If you find your baseline, that's what you start out with. Every day you track. When you're not gaining weight, your weight is the same every single day. Track your calories every single day. Take your average calories that you're eating. That's your baseline. Now add 300 to 500 calories on top of that, and you'll start gaining a pound a week. It's going to be like magic. And you're also going to be looking better in the mirror as well. You're going to notice those little pop on your shoulders, a little pop on your arms, and you're going to realize that you're actually starting to gain some muscle for once. Also, a lot of those nutrition programs out there, they really focus on like the super healthy food. The problem with that is we're in a unique situation, right? We're skinny, we're trying to gain weight. If you're eating these super healthy foods that they take up a lot of space in your stomach and they make you feel really full when you haven't actually eaten that many calories, I mean, obviously that's a problem. You're trying to get a lot of calories in, so you should be eating stuff that's dense in calories and it doesn't take up much space. So what I like to use personally is the 80-20 rule. I try to get 80% of like decent food, right? Like not complete junk food and shit. And then 20% can be that filler food. Like, bro, if you're skinny and you've been struggling to gain weight and muscle your whole life, you can eat some ice cream at night. Like, you don't have to like have this crazy diet that's not sustainable. Can't say sustainable. Literally stuttering with that word. What the fuck? But 80% decently healthy food, 20% that filler food, and that also keeps you healthy because you don't want to just destroy your like organs or whatever. And then what you also need to be focusing on is your macronutrients. If you don't know what these are, which I assume most of you do, but maybe you're new to fitness, you're new to dieting. Macronutrients are proteins, fats, and carbs. Those are the three. Okay, you have your calories, right? So people that are like watching their calories. Out of that, you have protein, carbs, and then fats. The one you mainly need to be focusing on at first, if you're just getting started, you don't really need to pay attention to carbs and fats as much. You can if you want to, and if you get a personalized program, you can, and you'll have those numbers, but focusing on protein is most important. What you should be doing is, let's say you weigh 150 pounds. That's your body weight. If you're wanting to gain muscle, you should be eating about 150 grams of protein every single day. That's just kind of the baseline. That's the golden rule when you're trying to gain weight and gain muscle. So number one things from that is just focus on your protein, focus on your calories, and add 300 to 500. I'll summarize that one. Secondly, obviously very important as well, optimize your training. Do progressive overload. What is that? Progressive overload is over time increasing the weight. I mean, that's kind of obvious if you didn't already realize. Like, if you're just lifting the same weights every single time that you go to the gym, your body isn't going to be forced to grow. Why would your body need to add muscle if you're not putting it under more stress every single week? Now, you don't have to increase the weight every single time you work out, but I like to do, when I'm first starting out in the gym, I typically recommend people every single week increase. So like basically you do 2 chest days and then you increase the weight that you're benching. Something like that. And then once you get a little bit of experience, you've been lifting for a couple months, maybe you switch that to bi-weekly. So every 2 weeks, then you increase the weights that you're using. Also, something that some people tend to ignore is ignoring the compound movements. So this is like bench, squat, and deadlift. Now, maybe you don't necessarily do those 3 exactly. Like, you don't have to do the bar, bench. If you have shoulder problems, you don't have to do deadlift. But the point is, of those 3 exercises, there's other exercises similar to that where your body uses multiple different muscle groups at the same time. So rather than doing a simple like bicep curl like you see people do, that's only targeting one muscle, your biceps. But if you're doing bench, you're focusing on your chest, your triceps, and even a little bit of shoulders. So by doing that, you can lift a lot more weight, and you're also hitting multiple muscle groups at the same time. So it's also more efficient as well if time is something that you're worried about. And then lastly is prioritizing recovery. This goes without saying, but I mean, you can't be sleeping like barely any at night and expect your muscles to grow. Recovering and when you're resting, that's when your muscles are actually growing back and getting bigger. So you also have to optimize that as well. You can't just optimize your training and expect your muscles to grow back bigger than they were before if you're not giving them time, right? Just to go off that, the rest and recovery. Like I said, good sleep. Get enough sleep every night. Don't be waking up in the middle of the night. One thing that I find as a struggle, especially for guys like us that are bulking and trying to eat a lot, if you eat a lot right before bed, it's just going to keep you up at night because your body's going to start processing that throughout the night. Your body heats up a lot, and you might be waking up a lot at night. You also need to manage your stress because that spikes your cortisol, and that's just bad for muscle growth and recovery as well. So find ways to manage your stress. If you're doing a program personalized to you, you can kind of find some stuff like that. You can start new habits that will help with that. And then also doing days off. Like, it's stupid to go to the gym 7 days a week, every single week, nonstop. You need days off. Maybe if you still do want to go to the gym, you could do a light walk. You could do a little bit of cardio, something like that, or even just going out for a hike. You can do those on your day off. You don't have to be sedentary, sitting around. but you do need to take a little bit of rest from working out every single week. Let's go over here. So lastly, the last pillar of this is your limiting beliefs. Now I gave you the facts. Now your limiting belief and your mindset, that's the harder thing to teach, and it takes more time to develop. But some of the common myths that you may be believing, if you're watching this and you're a skinny guy and you've been struggling a little bit, this could be some of the things that you believe. My genetics won't let me get big. I'll just dirty bulk to gain weight, or I'll just find random workouts. I'm pretty sure I've gone over all this, so you guys kind of know. Genetics, that's bullshit. If you're saying that, stop fucking saying that and get in the gym and start being consistent, and you'll realize that your genetics are actually pretty decent. Dirty bulking, you're going to gain fat, and that's just counterintuitive. Like, why would you, if you're starting out skinny, why the hell are you going to dirty bulk and put on you might put on some good muscle, but you're also going to put on a ton of fat. And when you got that layer of fat over those muscles that you work so hard for, you're not going to be able to see them. And if you're more defined, more shredded, and lower body fat, you look bigger than if you actually weigh more, because your muscles pop out more. You got more striations. You can see your veins and things like that. That just makes you look bigger compared to if you have that layer of fat and you're just a smooth column. Like, why the hell would you want to be that? And then just finding random workouts. You might think that you can just look up a quick YouTube video, copy exactly what this guy does. He's big, I'll just do what he does. No, everyone's body is different. You got to find what works for you. That's kind of the benefit, like I keep saying, of a program for you, is you can kind of tinker with it and figure out exactly what's going to be optimal for you and make you as big as possible. What I like to do to overcome these myths, though, is a little bit of manifestation, like picturing your future self. Actually envision yourself being big, having your dream physique, being able to take your shirt off and finally not being like self-conscious about it, or you're not worried because you're tiny and you're worried about walking around and thinking people are looking at you because you're so skinny and you look like a skeleton. No, you finally have a good body and something that you can be proud of and show off, and something that shows how much hard work you put in as well. And also, don't compare yourself to others, because everyone's at a different point in their journey. Maybe someone's been lifting for months, maybe even years. You can't compare yourself to them because they got that jump on you. But the good news is the starting point doesn't matter. It's all about your own journey. Some of the things that I personally struggled with to go along with this, the limiting beliefs here, is not being able to gain weight. Like, up until sophomore year, I was still under 100 pounds in high school, which is crazy. And I thought I was eating a lot, like I said. But until I started tracking, I was really able to see that I actually wasn't eating as much as I thought I was. And I wasn't being consistent. That's the thing. Also, just having like generic confidence issues. Like, if you're the skinniest kid in your whole school, obviously you're not going to be confident. Like, why would you be confident if you're tiny and you're easily the smallest? And then not believing that change was actually possible. This goes for everything in life. Like, it's really hard to envision yourself changed in the after, because you've never experienced that before, right? And it's easy to not believe that that's possible. But you have to do some mental practices and really start believing that, because if you can see it and envision it, then it will come true. Because then your actions will lead up to that goal that you have. So what are some of the solutions I did? Like I said, tracking my calories, and then I started gaining muscle and strength, which gained my confidence, boosted my confidence, and then starting to see small results. That is the thing where it's hard to see that like big after, like your dream physique, whatever your main goal is, your main weight, maybe the weight that you want to be lifting in the gym, like benching 225. Maybe hard to see that if you're only benching 135, but if you max out and you get, after a couple weeks of training, now you're at 155. Oh, that's a small jump. Now you can see how it's actually possible and how each time it builds and builds and builds upon itself. So in summary, what did we just go over? What are the main things? With your nutrition, 300 to 500 calorie surplus. If you've really been struggling, I would even recommend meeting that 500, maybe even trying 600 calories. You're going to gain a little bit of fat here, but you're going to max out that amount of muscle that you can gain every week. And then also doing the protein. Remember, like I said, the golden rule is matching up 1 gram per pound of body weight that you have every single day of protein. Those are the only 2 main things you need to know. Optimizing your training, that's obviously very important. Doing progressive overload. Keep your rep ranges between, I usually do about 12, but you do 8 to 12 reps of every set. You typically only need most of my workouts, I only do 6 exercises, 6 to 9 exercises per workout per day. And I'm in the gym for an hour. You don't have to make the gym your whole personality to see progress. And then progressive overload, like I said, every week, every 2 weeks, increasing the weight, increasing the reps, or increasing the sets, or even intensity. That's the other thing. As long as you're increasing something every week. And then resting and recovering, that is just as important as training, because your muscles grow when they're recovering. Always remember that. So if you're slacking on your recovery and you're like, it's probably fine right now, I don't really need to recover. No, that's when your muscles are getting bigger. So if you actually want to see the payoff of your nutrition and your training, you want to be recovering and resting up good. Now that bonus. So I made a quick little 3-day, it's a 3-day full meal plan for bulking. I set the calories for it. I made the total to where it's about where I estimate most people would be at. And it worked for me. I used to eat the things on here as well. But for you guys, I know it will work if you're in that range. If you calculate your calories, and then even if not, even if you're some outlier, like let's say you need even more calories to gain weight than what's on this meal plan, hit me up. You can follow me on Instagram, DM me, or comment below this video. I'm always open for questions. Any questions you guys got, just go ahead and ask me, shoot them over, and I'll answer as quick as possible. And I can kind of recommend some other things that you could either add in to get your calories and your protein a little bit higher. Or let's say this meal plan, let's say you have a really slow metabolism. Maybe you're an older guy, you're in your 30s, 40s, something like that, and your metabolism is starting to slow down. I can recommend the things that I might take out, but still have a diet of high protein. But I hope that helps. I'll leave it in the description below. You guys feel free to use it, and it should work for all you guys. We're all in that same kind of category, around that same body weight. But like I said, hit me up. And then the last thing I want to go over, I didn't include a slide for it here, so I'll just zoom out. But like I said, I've been hinting at this whole video is the one-on-one fitness coaching. Now, like I said, I think I made it clear how a personalized plan is really, really going to help you take it to that next level. You're not going to have to do all those hours of trial and error, trying new diets, new workouts and fitness programs. You're not going to have to do that as much if you have a personalized plan. Guys, I've been lifting for 6 years now. I started back when I was in high school in sophomore year. And I've had a few different transformations as well. And I know this stuff in and out. I've tried it all. I've done all that trial and error. So I do offer online fitness coaching. If you guys want it bad enough, click that link down below. It's a Calendly link, and you can book a call. It's no obligation. It's literally free. We can talk for 15, 30 minutes, whatever you want. Tell me everything that you struggle with. What are your goals, and then the timeline that you want to achieve those. And then I can give you a little game plan for how I think you can get from point A to point B, achieve everything that you want in fitness. So if you're interested, click the link below. But I do really hope that this video helped for you guys. If you need to, skip to certain parts of it, and don't forget about that meal plan below. Try it out and let me know what you guys think. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Good luck.